With Ketu being the energy of denial, separation, keeping you away from the results of a certain sign, of a certain house, of a certain planet, it's important to see the transit of Ketu into Leo, not only from your rising sign, not only from your moon sign as well, but also which house is the transiting Ketu getting into from the natal position of Ketu into your chart, so that you know where the denial is coming from, where the transformation is coming from, where the change is coming, but also where the opportunity is coming from. Hello, namaste and adab to all my friends from your friend astrology and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. We have been doing this series of covering the transit of the slower moving entities, the sharper entities, the larger, stronger entities like Jupiter, Saturn and Rahu Ketu transiting into Gemini, Pisces and Aquarius and Leo respectively for Rahu and Ketu. In this regard, we have done the transits of all these entities from the rising sign, from the moon signs, as well as from the natal position of the planet in your chart. Today, we are going to cover the placement of Ketu into or transit of Ketu into Leo from your natal position, because that will bring in its own set of opportunities as well as challenges. So let's start with Leo, the sign of Leo where Ketu is just transited. And if Leo is the sign where your natal Ketu is also present, which means Ketu has now come over its return placement. It's come back to its placement where it started off in your chart, and this happens once in every 18 years. So what is important for Ketu getting into a return placement or getting into the same house? This means Ketu is one with itself or conjunct with itself. Now we know that the first house, wherever planet represents, for that house, it represents the self, the identity of the person, and as well as the physical entity, the body as well. So what are the main challenges when Ketu goes into its return placement? So yeah, it talks about that this person will, maybe because of the denial, sometimes be a little confused with where am I right now, where am I headed? And there will be a certain degree of confusion and a loss of what are the results that I'm looking for, because Ketu, as we know, is a planet of denial where you have already achieved. So when it comes back to its return placement, to its first house from its own natal position, it is about where am I heading, where am I going? And this is also a sense of detachment, a sense of detachment from self. But the biggest sense of detachment it gives you is the lesson for you is the detachment should be from your ego. If you don't detach yourself from the ego, the false pride, from the prestige, then it also impacts the physical body or how your overall health makeup can be. So what do the souls need when Ketu gets into its return placement over itself in its natal placement? So this is a placement of soul searching. That's why Ketu has come back to its return placement. Coming back to its return placement means search for inner self. What is your soul's meaning in this life? Because in this life or in this innings, your soul's journey is not to achieve specifically where Ketu goes, where Ketu is placed, where Ketu is transiting, and now Ketu is transiting over its natal placement. So the soul's need, the soul searching is, what am I in this world for? Not the material side, but what the spiritual side is. So it is important to see what you need to let go, what is not serving you spiritually, which is not helping you. So for example, if you're chasing somebody, chasing a result, chasing some conveniences, and you have seen that you have struggled to be in a relationship with that person, to get into a certain organization, to go to a certain place, or to get higher education. So whatever that particular house is. So for example, Ketu has come back to its return placement in the 5th house. Then it becomes about education. If it's in the 7th house, then it becomes about the partnership. So yeah, Ketu is telling you that if you have tried to achieve in a certain direction and that is not coming to you, then you need to relook at, why am I not getting? Is that denied to me? Or is that denied to me because I'm not looking at it spiritually? I'm looking at it only materialistically. So the lesson for you, the spiritual lesson for you, is to let go of the material side and look at the spiritual side, look at the serving side. then the results will come to you. So unless you serve in a certain direction, let go of the ego, let go of the self-entity, trying to achieve for others, then Ketu serves you back. So the action you need to take is, you need to be more mindful of your spiritual journey. You should be mindful of not having over bloated ego or over bloated sense of pride, prestige. I don't deserve this. But be more grounded. Establish more grounded relations. Be more grounded to what's happening around you. Have more situation awareness, and to understand that this innings of yours is to serve, not just to materialistically get. So avoid any rash decisions, that thinking that, okay, if I let go of this person, maybe it will help me. If I let go of this investment, it will help me. If I let go of this organization, it will help me. But look at it spiritually. If there are any hurdle, why they are. And in a sense of serving, you will be achieving. The other thing is, it is getting into the sign of Leo. So here it means you need to take responsibility and accountability for whatever you have achieved so far or not achieved so far. Look at the reasons behind why certain results have been denied to you. If a relationship has been denied to you, what have been the challenges because of which a relationship has not come to you? If an investment or an asset like a house has been denied, what is the reason? Take a stock. And Ketu also is about transformation or change. Look at where you need to change, where you need to transform, so that the results come to you from now on at least. Now when Ketu is transiting into the sign of Leo and your natal Ketu is placed in the Virgo sign. So transiting Leo is transited into the 12th house from your natal Virgo, which is second to the transiting Ketu. So this is the 12-2 position, with the transiting Ketu getting into Leo in the 12th house from your natal position if Ketu is in the Virgo sign in your natal chart. So now what it means, the 12th house where Ketu has transited into, the transiting Ketu has transited into Leo sign, it's for liberation from certain attachments, from waste, from excess, from moving headless, like a headless chicken in a direction which is not supposed to be for you, where you need to in fact be more charitable, be more giving, be more donating, be more serving rather than self. So the liberation should come to you for all those waste and excess actions, spending, effort which has not served you so far. This is also a place where either you are focused towards something and the challenge is you may not get it, or there is a change or a transformation opportunity coming to you. For example, foreign lands. Ketu is also status quo changer. So whatever has been your status quo so far, Ketu comes into that house to bring about a status quo change. So for example, if you have been struggling so far to go to foreign lands and that opportunity has not come for you, so Ketu is giving you the chance of status quo to go there. However, it is also about, if you are taking the chance, then you need to really ready to struggle and work hard. So for example, it could also mean some challenges in the foreign lands, or the higher gains that you expected. If you're already in a foreign lands, then they may not be coming to you unless there is a need to transform or change. So what is that you need to change? What is that you need to transform is what you need to see. And the first thing you need to surely transform is the over expenditure, over excess focus on self, the material self, which Ketu is reminding you of. So what is the soul's need here? So soul's need here is to look at serving, look at spiritual elevation, looking at release of the unconscious karmas. Rahu is your conscious karma. Ketu is the unconscious karma which you have not focused on so far. So look at those unconscious karmas or you have not focused on. Look at those, and through those have better spiritual elevation. And the spiritual lesson for you is not your mind or what your past is, but about what you need to look currently in, where you need to serve, where you need to move. And you are not just what your mind is here in this particular evening, but what your soul is. So the spiritual lesson is look at your soul, let go of the unnecessary actions or the waste and excess actions. And the action is to look at having better sleep, having better hygiene, look at a spiritual retreat, look at a spiritual elevation. And this is a good placement for having stronger intuition. So look at the change and the transformation, and your intuition will guide you. Now when Rahu is transiting into the Leo sign in your 11th house, when Leo when Ketu is in the Libra sign in your natal chart. So the transiting Ketu has transited 11th house away from your natal chart, Ketu, which is in Libra sign, which means the natal Rahu is 3 places away from the transiting Ketu, while the transiting Ketu is 11 places away from the natal Ketu. So this is the 11th replacement. So what does this mean? The 11th replacement and Ketu going into the Leo sign into the 11th house. Now remember, Ketu represents denial, negation, separation, and a revisiting of those actions which you have not done so far, which you have not focused so far, but where you need to contribute or you have to do more before you achieve. Ketu is also a planet of challenge coming to you if you have not looked at or you are not focused on where you need to transform, where you need to change. So Ketu is also status quo change bringer. So Ketu in the 11th house in Leo is bringing an opportunity to change the status quo so far, whatever you have gone through or whatever you have done so far. So for example, in the 11th house of society, societal gains, societal connections, societal obligations, here it is bringing you a chance of change or transformation. So relook at what you're doing so far. Relook at your connections, relook at your partnership, relook at your acquaintances, relook at all those social connections, social network that you have, and have this serve you. For example, if you have spent a lot of time on FaceTime and Facebook and on Instagram, whatever, has that social media, have those connections, have those entertainment orientations really helped you? Has a lot of time on the social media, chatting with friends, has it really helped you? So there is a time of transformation or change or relooking at where the change needs to come from. So the opportunity is being given to you that you need to change. Secondly, it is also a placement of denial. If you have not taken the responsibility which Leo sign represents, so if you are not ready to take the responsibility for the change, for the transformation, then the change or the transformation or the wishes and desires which the 11th house represents will not be given to you. So this is also an opportunity of re-looking at your wishes and desires, the social connections, working in large brands, working in a brand or an organization which you have not served you so far. So re-looking at and trying and bringing in the transformation, trying and bringing in the change. Now what is the spiritual lesson for you when Ketu goes into the Leo sign in the 11th house? This is about true gain is in giving through those connections. And so practice having a larger heart where you are providing to others, helping others, serving others, especially in your social connection. But it is also a letting go of those relations which are not serving you. But this is a big opportunity that to network with those people who can bring about a better change in your life, better transformation, better opportunities in your life. Not so much materialistically, but at a soul level which will really make you feel good. And through that, the change will come to you. And if the material wishes and desires which the 11th house represents are not coming to you, then Ketu will give you opportunity of those wishes and desires getting fulfilled through an opportunity which will come to you. Maybe through your social connection, maybe through your acquaintances, maybe through your friends. So have an eye open for it. But because Ketu is in the Libra sign in your natal chart, so Libra sign is also about relations, also about connections. So this is a better time, specifically when Jupiter is transited into the Gemini sign and is in mutual aspect with Ketu. This is a high time where Ketu is being expanded, or Ketu's denotation is being expanded by Jupiter and vice versa. So the wisdom is being given to you to be able to bring about the change, especially because Jupiter is in the 9th house. Higher wisdom, higher elevation, spiritual elevation is also coming to you. Now, if Ketu is transited into the Leo sign in the 10th house in your natal chart, when Ketu is placed in the Scorpio sign in your natal chart, which means Ketu has transited 10 houses away from your natal Ketu, and so your natal Ketu is 4 houses away from your transiting Ketu. So this is a 10-4 placement. The important thing is Ketu is a planet of denial, a planet of change. But Ketu also brings to you an opportunity of change and the transformation which is arising of the challenges that you have faced so far in your career. And so while you are doing that, it is also important for you to focus and look at where the opportunity is coming from. For example, if the acknowledgement has not come to you, if the appreciation has not come to you, if the elevation has not come to you, the growth has not come to you, better role has not come to you, better responsibility has not come to you, then it's an opportunity of change. Ketu is also a status quo change bringer. So Ketu is bringing about a change, an opportunity for change in your career, in your responsibility, in your designation, in your growth. So Ketu is saying, have a relook at where you are stationed right now in your career and look at the change, look at the transformation if it has not served you so far. So let go of those roles and responsibilities which are not serving you. Let go of the team which is not serving you. Look at new opportunities. If you, for example, if you've stagnated for a long period, then look at where the opportunities are. If need be, the change can come within the department, within the team, within the organization, or sometimes even outside of the organization. So surely this is taking the responsibility, because Ketu is translated into the Leo sign, for your career from now on, for your growth from now on, for your elevation from now on. And so the source need is to release those ambition-driven goals which are not serving you and pick out the new ones which are serving a higher purpose, maybe even a spiritual purpose, to be able to help you career-wise. So the lesson is, work is your dharma, work is also your karma. It is not your identity. It is one part of life, not everything. So avoid getting into office politics. Be humble, be more spiritual, and look at work as not only a goal for materialism but also for spiritual elevation itself. So look at meaningful connections, look at meaningful output or contribution you're doing, not just status. But surely this is an opportunity for greater status growth, greater growth. Now, because the natal Ketu is in the 4th house from the transiting Ketu, so if you take the opportunity, then the assets will grow, the conveniences will grow, the happiness at home will grow, the peace and tranquility in your domestic life will also grow if you are looking at the transformation and the change which Ketu is providing you. If not, then the challenges will persist. Now, important is Ketu also aspects with the 5th aspect Saturn in the 5th house of transformation. So the transformation can come in your romantic Leo zone, transformation can come in investments, transformation can come in through your education or higher education or higher value that you're bringing in by adding more competency. Now, if Ketu is transited into your 9th house from your natal Ketu is placed in the Sagittarius sign. Now, this is important because what does the 9th house represent? It represents the dharma, it represents your gurus, your teachers, it represents your higher faith, your higher beliefs, and it also represents a negation of those results, those things which will not serve you specifically materialistically. And this is an opportunity of bringing in the change and transformation yourself in how you look at your dharma from now on, how you look at your beliefs, how you look at your values, which is relook at the beliefs and the focus and attention that you've been given to certain value systems, certain ideologies in your life. Specifically, if we have not served you. For example, if you believe that honesty is the best policy, relook at it. But Ketu is not saying don't be dishonest. Ketu is saying maybe you need to be more tactful. If you have not been tactful, if you have been too frank, maybe because of which you have rubbed some people the wrong way. So Ketu is saying relook at those. So whatever your ideology is, good, bad, ugly, have a relook at them, relook at your experience so far, and relook at whatever you have learned so far. Have you really helped you? Has your experience helped you? Has your higher learning helped you? Has your high qualification helped you? If not, this is the time of transformation and change and relooking at them from a different perspective, maybe adding some new competency also. Now, this is also important because the natal Ketu is in the 5th house from the transiting Ketu. 5th house is also the gains coming in from the investments. So, invest in higher learning, higher competencies, use your higher spiritual experiences as well as your day-to-day life experiences so that you know where the opportunity lies, what to let go, what to not to hang on to. So let go of certain things you hang on to. And this is important because Saturn's 10th aspect is also on your natal Ketu in the Sagittarius sign, as well as the transiting Jupiter, which is also aspecting your natal Ketu in the Sagittarius sign. So this is an important period for you to persevere, to expand, which Jupiter brings, to be very optimistic, and optimistically look at change from now on if you have not done, and relook at your faith and belief and use your experiences, use your high learning, use your high competency to your advantage. Now, if the transiting Ketu has transited into the Leo sign, into the 8th house, specifically if Ketu is placed in the Capricorn sign in your natal chart. So this is the 8th-6 placement. What does this mean? This means that the transiting Ketu has gone into the 8th house from your natal Ketu, which is placed in the Capricorn sign. So the natal Ketu is in the 6th house from your transiting Ketu. Now, what does the 8th house represent? 8th house represents sudden opportunities, sudden changes, but sudden transformation, but sudden issues, problems, challenges, frustrations, obstructions as well. Now, Ketu denies certain results of the house, the sign, and the planet that it is conjunct with or goes into. So, Ketu denies some of the challenges, problems, issues, frustrations that you will be getting. However, Ketu is also denying you sudden opportunities, sudden challenges, sudden new gains also, if you are not looking at transformation, if you are not looking at the changes. So Ketu in the 8th house from your natal Ketu saying, look at change from now on. Ketu is a planet of change and transformation. And Ketu is a status quo change bringer. Ketu saying, I am bringing about the change in the status quo in your life by halting some of the issues and problems, but I am also halting some of the old opportunities which you are looking forward to. Look at new opportunities, look at new directions, look at new tangents. Then I will be giving you those gains, and especially because Ketu is getting into Leo, which means the responsibility for the change and accountability is yours, not with somebody else. Then the opportunity will come to you. Still you are within yourself saying, okay, I'm ready for the change. The change will not come to you. So what is the main transformation for you? Relook at some of the hidden karma that you have. Rahu is your obvious karma wherever house plays, but Ketu, where it goes, where it is placed, is your hidden karma. So there are certain karmas which you have not done so far, which you also need to look now that Ketu has gone into the 8th house, which is the house of hidden elements. So the source need here is face your fears, awaken the psychic ability in you, hear your inner voice, hear your intuition. What is your intuition guiding you towards? And embrace the unknown. So don't fear to take some steps. Don't fear to take some risks. Bring in the transformation and change through your own effort. And let death, which 8th house represents, symbolic death of certain relations, certain things you're holding on to, certain grudges you're holding on to, certain negative karma that you're holding on to. Let go of them so that you can move in the new direction. You can uncover the hidden truth about life, about opportunities, about connections, about investments, so that the opportunity, the new opportunity of change and transformation can come to you. Now, Ketu is translated into the Leo sign in your 7th house, while the natal Ketu is in the Aquarius sign in your natal chart, which means the transiting Ketu is gone 7 places from your natal Ketu. Now, what does this mean? The 7 placement means a balance between your previous innings or your previous focus and the new focus. This means that Rahu is also exchange places. The axis has exchange places. The Rahu Ketu axis has exchange places, which means the transiting Rahu is going over your natal Ketu and vice versa. So this is a huge opportunity of flipping the side, flipping the life, flipping how you're looking at life completely. So completely refocusing your energy. Look at all those things which you have not focused on at all, and letting go of something which you are completely focused on and they have not served you so far, especially in your connections, especially in your partnerships, especially in your acquaintances, especially in those connections which you have held too dear, whether they are relations, whether they are friendships, whether it's somebody who you are dating for a long time. Relook at those connections, relook at those partnerships. And Ketu is a status quo change bringer. So Ketu is giving you an opportunity of status quo in your change in partnerships, in your team, in your connections, in your acquaintances. Look at those connections differently. Bring in a new fresh perspective and bring in a spiritual cleansing of those bonds by letting go of those bonds and forming new bonds. And relook at how you look at connections and partnerships. Maybe you need to change what your focus in the relationship is, what you need in the relationship, and because you're looking at the wrong thing, so they are not serving. So the spiritual lesson is that you need to become whole by yourself and not be too dependent on others. Ketu is also about letting go. Ketu is also being charitable to those things. But serve others, whoever is connected to you, help those who are connected to you without expecting too much in return. And look at those new connections which will serve you spiritually more than the material side. When you look at more spiritual connections, the material results will come to you. So, relook at your connections, relook at those opportunities, relook at those partnerships, relook at those relationships, so that you bring in those fresh ideas, fresh perspectives, fresh partnerships, fresh way of looking at things, and new opportunities, and through a transformation. Now, this is important because Ketu's mutual aspect, 5th and 9th aspect of Ketu and Jupiter is on each other, where Jupiter is in the 5th house in transit in Gemini. So this is Jupiter expanding your ability to be able to educate yourself in connections, especially the romantic liaisons, but also investments. So Ketu is giving you an opportunity through Jupiter's expansion of relooking at the investments you have done, specifically investments which you have done through a partnership or through a partner's instance. Then those new transformations is coming to you. So relook at new partnerships, new connections, new acquaintances for better gains, for better investments, or invest in new relations and connections. Then the spiritual elevation will also come to you, as well as the material results will also come to you. Now, if Ketu is transited into the Leo sign in your 6th house, when the natal Ketu is in the Pisces sign in your natal chart. So this is a 6th state placement, because the transiting Ketu has gone into the 6th house from the natal position of Ketu in the sign of Pisces in your natal chart, which means the natal Ketu is 8 houses away from the transiting Ketu. Now, this is a very important placement because the natal Ketu is placed 8 houses away from the transiting Ketu. Ketu also rules the Scorpio sign in the Kalpurus Kundi, co-rules it with Mars. So this is an important placement where Ketu's placement is about transformation or a change coming into service, because Ketu has gone into the 6th house, but in the sign of Leo. So this is a time of change, status quo change in how you're looking at service, how you're looking at working with for others, how you're looking at serving others. So the transformation which the 8th house represents to come into the service that you're doing, taking the responsibility and accountability for the service. So wherever you're working, this is a very strong sign of relook at where you're working. This is not just your career, that you're working for some organization, you're working for a department, you're working for a team, you're working for a project, you're working for a person, or you're working for a larger industry goal. This is about any work, any goal that you have, physical goal that you have, relationship goal that you have, wherever you're serving, wherever you're putting in time, wherever you're putting in the effort, relook at that transformation, new opportunity which is coming to you. So wherever you're serving your hobby, you're serving something, you're serving your health by going to the gym every day, for example. You're serving time to giving time to a friend, for example. So wherever you're serving, giving time, giving your attention, this is a time of relooking at whether they're serving you, not just materialistically, but also spiritually. Is that elevation coming to you? Now, Ketu is the planet of denial, detachment, negation for you of the results where Ketu transits into. So Ketu is denying you results which are coming from people working below you, unless you have also had a mindset of serving them. So Ketu says, if you have not served your people who work below you with the mindset of serving them, with the mindset of helping them, with the mindset of elevating them, then the gains that you're looking at from them will not come to you. So have a mindset of being charitable, donating, serving, then those results will come to you, specifically because Ketu has got into the 6th house, but in the sign of Leo, which is leadership and accountability. Now this is important because 6th house is also a Bhrigu Bhava, where you need to serve without expecting returns. But this is a place where Ketu is giving you a transformation and returns also coming to you if the fresh perspective that you should have is going to be where you're going to serve first and then expect returns. Then Ketu does bring in the returns for you, does bring in the change for you, and the 6th house is also a strong house of your financial gains that you may be getting from others. So this is also change and the transformation in them. Now this is important because Saturn, the transiting Saturn is in the Pisces sign. So the transiting Saturn is going over your natal Ketu. So over the next 2.5 years, Saturn is going to remain there. So in this transit of Ketu toward in your Leo sign, this is a strong placement where Saturn is promising you stable results. If you are ready to take the change, if you are ready to take the opportunity of transformation in where you are serving, in your investment, and also who you are fighting for. So if you are fighting for a cause, you're fighting for finances, you're fighting for something, let go of the fighting part. Relook at the struggle that you're doing there, why you're struggling. If you are struggling with team members, if you're struggling at work, relook at that. So have a fresh perspective to all of this. Then Saturn will give you stable results. Now the transiting Ketu is gone into the 5th house in Leo from your natal Ketu, which is in Aries sign in your natal chart. So if you have Ketu in the Aries sign in your natal chart, then the transiting Ketu in Leo has gone into the 5th house from it, which means the natal Ketu is in the 9th house from your transiting Ketu. So this is a 5-9 placement. Normally the 5-9 placement is better for Jupiter or Rahu, but for Ketu the 5-9 the placement is a more spiritual placement. The 9th house is the house of spiritual elevation, of your religious beliefs, of your faith, and your elevation through your experiences, even spiritual experiences. So Ketu going into the 5th house from your natal Ketu, which means the education, the learning that the 9th house natal placement is giving you is to be able to make gains in this life, in this innings. So relook at whether the financial gains have come to you or not through the experiences you have gained so far in your education, through your elevation, if you are through your experiences. So Ketu is telling you what have you learned so far through your experiences, through your competency, through where you have worked. So this is not about material gains that you have got, the experience gains that you have got, or it means what have you gained as an experience, and you have become a better person, you have become a wiser person. Use that wisdom from better financial gains, which the 5th house represents. The 5th house also represents the house of investment. So relook at the investments you have made, and Ketu is the status quo change bringer. So Ketu is giving you an opportunity of status quo change in how you look at investments, how you look at romantic liaisons, how you look at your career, because Ketu is going into the 8th house from your 10th house from your natal Ketu. So relook at your career, relook at all those connections that you have had so far, take the responsibility for it. Opportunity will be coming to you, the career change opportunity is being given to you if you are ready to take it. So there are certain issues that you need to let go. There are certain transformations you need to relook at. There are certain roadblocks which you have to remove. So the past life karma, which the 5th house also represents, the Purva Punya, is being given to you now through an opportunity if you are ready to change the perspective. So the spiritual lesson for you is surrender to outcomes that you have. Let go of those. Surrender that I'm not focused too much on outcome, but I'm focused on my investments in them, in love, in creation. Then the opportunities will come to you. And action that you need to be is to be in love with serving and to help others. And through that, the financial gains will also come to you. The career gains will also come to you if you have a transformation or transformative focus towards love, towards connection, towards all that brings you happiness, all this that brings you, you're interested in, and in your career, in your work. Now, if your transiting Ketu is transited into the 4th house, into Leo, if the natal Ketu is in the Taurus sign, so this is a 4-10 placement. The transiting Ketu is gone into the 4th house from the natal Ketu, so that means the natal Ketu is in the 10th house from your transiting Ketu. Now this 4-10 placement means, first of all, Ketu is a planet of negation, denial, but it is also a planet of transformation, of change. Ketu is a status quo change bringer. So Ketu changes the status quo of the house that it gets into, the sign that it gets into, or the planet that it gets conjunct with, even in transit. So Ketu transiting into the 4th house from your natal Ketu saying, I'm bringing about an opportunity for a status quo change at home, in your domestic life. And because it is going into Leo, so that responsibility and accountability for the change is yours. Relook at how you have led your domestic life so far. Relook at your connection so far. Relook at how you connect with your family members, with your children. Relook at how you are approaching, treating people, meeting people, aligning with people, specifically those who are connected to your day-to-day life on a day-to-day basis. That they can be from your security guard, to your driver, to your spouse, to your children, to your parents, to your siblings, whoever it is. So relook at those relations, relook at those connections, and let go of the negative karma that you're carrying, negative baggage that you're carrying towards your spouse, towards parents, towards siblings. Then the change and the transformation will come to you, but the responsibility and the accountability is yours. If you do that, in the fourth house results of better assets, more happiness, more tranquility, more peaceful existence will come to you. The domestic house will be filled with peace, will be filled with happiness, will be filled with tranquility if you are taking the charge, if you are taking the responsibility of bringing in the change of your perspective, how you're looking at your connections so far, specifically the familial connection that you have so far. And because the Natal Ketu is in the 10th house, which means that happiness, that tranquility, that peace at home, domestic home, will transform into your better results in your career also, in your work also, even the money part, the investment part that you will be bringing in, specifically because Saturn is also aspecting the Natal Ketu, which is third aspect from the 11th house of wishes and desires coming good. So Saturn is giving you an opportunity of wishes and desires coming through because the transiting Saturn in Pisces is aspecting your Natal Ketu in the second house in Taurus. Remember, Taurus is a money sign. So the money, financial gains may also come to you through new connections, through new acquaintances that you're going to make, and those will remain stable for you. So relook at how you're looking at the family life, your connections, and relook at the assets that you have invested in money so far. So if you're invested in money in home, in conveniences or stocks, which are related to daily conveniences, then those will surely go through a transformation, either ups and downs. So relook at that. However, one transformation which is surely coming to you, opportunity for the transformation is surely coming to you in your financial part. Keep an eye and look out for it. Now Ketu is translated into the Leo sign, into your third house from your Natal Ketu. If Natal Ketu is in the Gemini sign in your natal chart, and the translating Ketu is now gone into the Leo sign, third from your Natal Ketu in Gemini. So this is a 311 placement. Now the third house placement of a transiting planet is bringing the focus on your effort, on your ability to do things on your own and work on your own, and also to transform how you look at how you are communicating with others, what kind of influence you're leaving with others, what kind of branding you have done so far with others. So the transiting Ketu is saying relook at what you have done. So relook at how people see you. Dig in and see how people feel about you. Do people like you? Do people like to work with you? Do people get along with you? Or do most people get along with you? Are there very few people who like you? Most of them don't even know you. So relook at those acquaintances and relook at those people where you put in the effort. So for example, if you're putting in the effort at work, or putting your work effort in your career, you're putting in the effort with family members, whoever. So relook at where your effort is going, whether relations, whether connections, whether at work, whether it's something that you do for yourself. Maybe you are a social influencer, maybe you are in marketing, whatever you're doing, relook at where the effort that you're putting in. Specifically, it does not serve you. You work very hard in a work, you work very hard in a hobby, you work very hard in art, you work very hard in your communication, but you're not getting results. Specifically in your communication and your ability to influence people. If you're not able to influence your boss, if you're not able to influence people within your team, you're not able to influence people with whom you have an inter-department relation, then surely this is a time where you need to refocus where you're putting in the effort, where you're working. That effort will bring you change or transformation, because Ketu is the planet of transformation, of change. It's a status for change bringer. And Ketu in Leo, which means you need to take the responsibility. Now this is important because the transiting Jupiter is also transited into Gemini over your Natal Ketu. Now this is important because Jupiter rules the 9th house of the Kalpurus Kundi. So gains that are coming to you from the 9th house effect are coming to you in the Lagna, in Gemini sign, which is also about communication. And Ketu, the transiting Ketu, is gone into the 3rd house of communication. So communication is the key to gains. So Jupiter is expanding gains, which the 9th house represents, through your communication, through your ability to influence people. So this is an opportunity for you to relook at how you communicate, how you work with people, how people feel when they talk to you, what kind of influence are you leaving with them, how will they remember you, what are you leaving them with a feeling. Focus on them. So the key to you for your gains is going to be better communication, rebranding, relook at how you dress, relook at how you meet with people, Relook at what kind of mails that you send, very long mails, very short, succinct mails, to the point mails. So relook at a complete transformation in your perspective. What is the personality that you're showing to people? And that responsibility is yours. Then the gains will come to you. Then the spiritual elevation will happen. Along with the material elevation, the prestige, the new stature, everything will come to you because Jupiter is placed with Ketu. So at a spiritual level, you need to transform so that the material elevation will also happen with Jupiter expanding it and through communication. Now, if the transiting Ketu is transited into the Leo sign in your second house, especially if the natal Ketu is placed in the Cancer sign. So, if the transiting Ketu is gone into the Leo sign, second from your natal Ketu in Cancer sign, which means the natal Ketu is placed in the 12th house from your transiting Ketu. So, this is a 2-12 placement. Now, the second house for any planet is the gains that you get from that house. So Ketu's gains are coming from the transformative Ketu in the sign of Cancer in your natal chart. What is Cancer sign? Cancer sign is also the natural 4th house of the Kalpurusha. But the 4th house is also about empathy, service, support, emotions, domestic life, what brings you happiness, what brings you satisfaction, peace. So Ketu, the transiting Ketu in the second house, saying the nutrition that I will bring to you will be at an emotional level at a material level if you transform how you're looked at, the way where you're supportive, where you are empathizing, where you are being more charitable in giving. It means if you have not given in the right direction, if you put your empathy in the wrong people, if you have not supported the right people in the right way without looking at returns from them. So at a spiritual level, if you have truly not served people, if you have not supported people, if you have not empathized with people, or you have empathized with the wrong people, though your heart is open, you're free, but you have empathized with the wrong people, you have supported the wrong people, you have cared for the wrong people, then the second house, the gains will be eluded to you unless you have a transformative of thinking. I need to relook at my relation and my connection with a fresh perspective. I cannot go on with the same perspective for long. If you have that approach, you have that perspective, then the gains will come to you. Otherwise, the challenges will continue for you. But the gains surely are opportunities coming to you if you take responsibility for the transformation and change. Why? Ketu is also status quo change bringer. So the status quo change opportunity has been given to you because of Ketu moving into the second house of gains through nutrition. So Ketu is giving you a chance of status quo changing in your nutrition, in your livelihood, in your earning. If you are looking at how you are supporting the right people, the right causes, the right team, the right goals, the right projects, the right superiors. So in your work arena, in your connections, look at where you're contributing and who you're contributing. Are you contributing to the right causes and the right goals? Are you contributing or supporting or caring for the right goals and the right people? Then the money will come to you, then the investments will also come to you, then the better livelihood will come to you. Surely this is a placement of a new opportunity being given to you for better livelihood. And this is also important because Ketu's 9th aspect is on Saturn, which is placed in the Pisces sign. So Ketu's 9th aspect on Saturn is bringing about a change or a transformation through your faith and belief. Where your faith and belief is lying, in whom, in what goals, in what roles, in what service that you're doing. Because whatever you're going to change and transform now will remain with you for a long period of time. Saturn is giving you the stability. So use that. If you bring in the change, that active focus through fresh perspective at who you're serving, who you're working with, who you're supporting, then long-term change in your livelihood, in your nutrition is coming to you. So friends, now that we have seen how Ketu placed in different houses from your natal Ketu in transit in Leo is bringing new opportunities for you, do look at where Ketu is placed in which yogas, what aspects in your natal chart, because they will bring in your own favor. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me. The link is below. Just some other time with some other video. This is your friend, astrologer and guidance signing off.